Welcome to the Smoking Word.
We almost had a little false start there, but you see how we picked that up? You see when you got pros in the house, little hiccups happen, but you don't even know. It almost
I didn't know. Now I
Jazz.
know. That was a tight intro.
That was jazz right there. Listen, everybody, welcome to we're back. You know the deal, Smoking Word Podcast. Shout out to everybody around the planet tuning in. You know the deal. Shout out to everybody who's been copping that Smoke AD. Shout out to Blackout Records. Go get that exclusive vinyl. They got the Smoke AD. They got the Raw Deals. They got a bunch of shit they put out throughout the years. They got everything. But listen, shout out to Bill. Shout out to the fam. But today, listen. Today, you might know this already, Carl. And if you don't know, everybody who knows me, I got the guitarist and one of the musicians, one of the people behind probably my favorite hardcore band ever. Now I want to know how you say your name right. Porcaro. Because I always heard it, but I was always wondering how you said your last name.
Oh, that was perfect.
Oh, good. I always said it, Porcaro, because I was always saying, I should say like Porcaro or something. You know what I mean?
Most people get it wrong. So
yeah, good. No, but good to see you again. But everybody knows on the real Raw Deal. I call Killing Time, but I still say Raw Deal because Raw Deal, that shit's implanted in the soul.
That's all right.
And I kind of take pride in the Raw Deal.
It's the same thing. It's crazy that we had to change it.
and we're gonna talk about that because. Not only was that probably, to me, that was my epic hardcore moment, not just for me, but I think for the band. And like maybe people had it with AF in the past or a Minor Threat. For me, it was that. And I was glad. We're going to talk about it, but it's actually up online, which I watched it and fucking bugged out. Anyway,
what did you watch?
Last show, that show. Were you still in the band when you had to be when you ripped up the when it had to be done and Anthony ripped up the shit?
That was what the last breakdown show at CB's?
No, when they changed the name from
yeah, I don't remember. I vaguely remember him doing that. I don't remember where it was.
Yeah, it was at CB's, and okay. I just remember it was the hardest shit because he was like, because of this, like fuck this shit or something. He was just mad, and I was like, yo, this is the hardest shit. Like, and I was like, but I love saying Raw Deal.
Stupid shit. We were pissed, man.
I remember, but to me it was like, wow, But to me, why I love saying Raw Deal. One, that's how I know the band, but also if people know it as the Raw Deal, it's always like, oh, yeah, all right.
You're a little bit more. You're a little bit more legit.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, still killing it, you guys, but you're more. You're like, oh, okay. Anyway, first of all, what's up, bro? How you been?
I'm good, man. How you been?
Good, man. Over here, man. I'm living the South Florida life.
Where you Miami?
Yeah, like a little bit north Miami.
Oh, man.
And just been down here with the fam. I've been down here about 10 years. I'm not leaving. I miss New York, but you know how it is. When we get to play music,
come up enough, right?
Yeah, when you play music, you probably see people more than you see the people in your own like neighborhood. You know what I mean?
True, right? You see them in all the random places.
Yeah. And let me ask you, how does it feel? That, and I'm happy for you motherfuckers because you guys with maybe a handful of other OG bands are probably like having some of the biggest resurgence with these young cats ever. Definitely the Raw Deal, definitely the Outburst. These new bands. Yeah. How I know you feel it because
you hit on it, and like I'm grateful for it. I mean, we're like. We just kept, we're one of these bands that was kind of off again, on again, off again. But like for the since 2006, we just kept our heads down and just kept going. And, since after the pandemic, like as everything like shifted and like there's just a load more kids out, old heads that are still out, but there's young kids out. And there's just like shows are big and there's all these new bands and it's exciting.
And I'm glad because again, look at there's nothing wrong with bands getting that itch and wanting to play with the boys. I'm glad you guys were playing and you guys also, I remember watching you guys play shows and having when it wasn't this hot time at the second.
Oh,
but
yeah, I
I
was there, dude. I remember.
Yeah, but what I love is there was not a sign of you guys not. If anything, I remember watching Anthony being like, yo, setting up more shit than he did in the past. You don't know how many times I cursed out Anthony to this day where I'm like, that motherfucker, we were supposed to do a Raw Deal song and have him do the Mad Boy song back in the day. And this is when he wouldn't fly. And I was pissed.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, you crazy, Ant? Like, you kidding me? Like, you gotta get to these places.
Now he's like the pilot.
I know, yeah, he's a fucking pilot, right?
He's like Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, right? Fucking no, it's good, son. And again, like I said, I'm like, for you guys, I'm satisfied even for you guys because, like I said, you guys worked it. You guys were playing because I could tell you guys were psyched to be playing again. We're having a great time, and like the shows are fun. The shows are great, man. I mean, like we got a couple cool shows coming up this weekend with Gorilla Biscuits. Yeah. Then we got like a real old school show with Murphy's Law, All Out War out in Pennsylvania. Right. And then we're going to go out to California. We're going to play with that band Tsunami. That's just going to be sick. That's going to be like and all those cats love you guys, man. And I love it because I'm like, I feel like, yeah, you know what's up, like, because everybody knows, like, Raw Deal was my shit. So I feel like, yeah, it ain't like, all right, the Bad Brains, we get it. I get it. Enough with them. You know what I mean? I get it. We know the Ramones. We know when I start hearing that, to me, that's more me. You know what I mean? Again, I came up with the AF and the Cro-Mag, but Raw Deal was my shit. Raw Deal was like AF was still too punk rock for me, and Cro-Mags was the right metal for me, but they weren't swag for me. You know what I mean? And Raw Deal had swag without trying to be swag, but I felt it, and I was like, it has metal, but it ain't metal. It has like rock, but how they mix it with that hardcore, and I just was all about it. And and this is what I wanted to tell you because I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, and you're gonna be part of this mission of mine. So I have theories on music, right? I got my theories, and I take pride in my theories because I back it up for my eras of music. I can't go on everything, but that shit what people know New York hardcore for, yeah, of course the AF, the Cro-Mags, but like that New York shit now where it has that thing, that jump, that little thing.
Right.
I trace it to one song, and that's Sick People.
Okay.
This is where I traced it to.
Yeah. That's like one of the first songs we did in Breakdown.
I know. So I want to know that song because look, I got goose pimples now because I really mean that. Like, I love the Rest in Pieces. They were like
me too, man. And when we were in the garage, I can't even remember where we came out with Sick People, but whoever's garage we were in, we were probably listening to Rest in Pieces like before practice.
Yeah,
or driving over there doing some.
This is what I want to know about that song specifically, because not only to me, that's the DNA of because that's what I bit off. Like, it's that jumpy shit. It sounds like hip hop, but it ain't. But it's hard, like metal, but it's not metal.
We really liked hip hop, like at the time. That's like what we were listening to, like mostly hip hop and like New York hardcore and metal. And that's where we were at.
So you that song is coming up. Those couple of songs there, it's the Breakdown nucleus. This is why this is why I wasn't surprised when you guys moved on. I followed the sound, my natural thing followed, but you guys got better.
Oh, well, thank you.
Like, I don't want to, and I love Breakdown. Not that it was better. The songs got more intricate. You know what I mean?
Well, Breakdown was like the first time we ever did anything at all. It was just like the first.
All right, so tell me that. How? I know you grew up with Bill, right?
Yeah, me and Bill grew up. We went to nursery school together. It cannot go back any further than that. How crazy is that?
But have you ever crawled in a bed with him drunk? I'll keep that story in Japan. I'll keep that story for another time. Shout out to Bill Wilson.
All right.
Anyway,
that's you.
You told me you know each other since little, right?
What's that?
You knew each other since you guys were little, huh?
Oh, yeah. since awareness.
Yeah. And you both, because I know kind of what Builder's story, but like you kind of found this together then, right? You guys were kind of like,
no question.
Yeah, right.
Because like we also like went to every school together. We
Yeah.
went to PS 28, Walt Whitman. From the beginning, and we found everything together. He found one record, I found another record.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found I bought the Metallica Kill 'Em All record when it came out. He bought the Celtic Cross record. Like it was like that kind of thing. Trading back and forth, and that was important back then because you didn't get bombarded with all kinds of information about bands. You sort of had to like talk and trade and with your friends and with the people at the record store and looking at fanzines and all that kind of stuff.
I'm not like ancient, but I'm old enough to do that, where I remember buying records because the cover and being like going for it. Like, I got enough money for a 7-inch. This shit looks cool. I think I heard of it. Fuck it.
Yeah. You had to invest a couple of bucks.
Yeah, and you made yourself like the shit sometimes. Like, I'm gonna listen to this 1,000 times because I save money for this thing. And, you had to work it. That's the one thing you appreciated, and then you wouldn't just get rid of it. You give it to somebody because you were like, what I had to do for this piece of this 7-inch or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so the instrument wise. You, Bill, all you guys are hanging out, and I know the same kind of deal when we're hanging out. Not everybody likes in hardcore. Everybody likes the idea of the band, but not everybody wants to be in the band.
The OG band was Bill Wilson on trumpet and me on accordion.
A ska band right there. Dude. We could bring this back. Continental Rock Records has an opening.
Nobody wants that.
Listen, we get homeboy from freaking Dickie and one of these badness guys. I think they need some work. We put them on stage to dance. Let's go. But you guys are hanging out. Obviously, I know when the shows start, you guys are going. Like, were you going to shows while you were playing, or because I know also some kids don't get to go to shows, but they already listening to the music and start the bands first before getting to go to gigs.
No, I got to go to the shows. When I started collecting hardcore records, and I didn't really know about the New York scene. But then when I found out about when I ordered like the Cro-Mags demo, and I got the Victim in Pain record, and I ordered the Ludacris demo. That's when I realized this shit is happening in my fucking backyard.
Yeah.
And then after that I was at CB's every Sunday.
Yeah.
But before that, I listened to a lot of hardcore, but that I never saw. I started off listening to like Minor Threat, Negative Approach, and you couldn't see those bands were already gone. You couldn't.
Yeah. That's crazy, right? People forget even.
But it was only it seemed like ancient history, but in reality, it was like 2 years earlier that they all broke up.
And not only that, not so much them, but some of these bands were only around for fucking a year or two.
Yeah,
people forget that also. That's what we. So nowadays you go on a demo like that long, 2 years playing. These guys have existence. So you guys are going to show. You're going to shows. How does the instrument come to you?
Like I said a minute ago, I wasn't actually kidding. I played the accordion.
Yeah.
You
know what? I think
real raw Italian American shit right there.
And I'm not surprised because you know what? Always it's either that or I hear piano a lot.
Yeah.
So to me it ain't that far off.
So I had the accordion, and you know what? I didn't want to play the accordion really. My dad wanted to play the accordion. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna make a lot of money. You make a lot of money playing weddings, son." I was like,
"Yo, Pop might be right."
Yeah,
he's not right. I got a side band called the Wedding Thrashers. We cover heavy metal songs with Frank Breed from Hatebreed. But that's another story. You might just be part of that next time.
So. I had that accordion. I was playing it and all, but I was like, my ears were getting into AC/DC and Iron Maiden, and it's like I didn't want to fucking play the fucking accordion. So I convinced my dad to trade it in for electric guitar. And
first of all, what did he say when he said that? He goes, Why you think of the accordion for the guitar?
He was just yeah. He was he had no bid for that. He was no.
He was like, yeah, I know, but get the fuck out. That's funny.
But I remember we went down to some little like we didn't like even go to like a store. We went to like some basement in the Bronx where there's like the guy had all accordions up on the wall, and he had a couple of like Japanese import electric guitars. So we traded the accordion in, and I got like a Montoya SG copy, and I was rolling. You know, I was rolling, and
yeah.
So that was like I had the guitar for a year or two, you know, before I got hardcore. You know.
Yeah. So you're just jamming, and
I was just trying to play shit. You know, I couldn't even like play like the songs. I couldn't like, you know, I couldn't like some of those metal songs that I could play now. I couldn't even fucking play those.
Yeah.
So I started like writing my own riffs, you know?
Yeah.
That was just like that's how it worked.
Listen, that's why a lot maybe my soul followed the band, because that's how I was. I started, I was put in a band because I was talking shit like, yeah, they could be in a band. We could do that shit. Yeah. They're like, all right, you talk shit. What are you gonna play? And my brother always wanted to play bass, so I said, right, I'll play bass. If it must be cool. He wanted to play it.
Yeah.
That was the reason. Now amazing. We got a bass. Okay, now what? And it was me and my boy were like, I guess we got to write a song.
Yeah. That's cool.
But that's cool. The same thing. We didn't. And now you got a guitar. Now you're playing. Where's the break? Is breakdown the first nucleus you get into?
Breakdown is like the first thing. Yeah, I mean,
who's the first?
That, it was just in my house, and you know, it's like I hooked. Breakdown was me and Don Angelilli, who's the other guitar player. Yeah. You know, Don.
Yeah, and I used to remember those different setups. I always remember the names when he had different players. I would always forget and lose track. So that first, the OG version, it was you. Who was in that version?
It was me and Don, and then we, you know, Bill was in the band, but Bill was with us all the time. And then the next member, we were at the pool, the public pool, and we see this guy with the fucking Liberty spikes, you know, like there's nobody has that, you know, like, and that's Rich McLaughlin. Yeah. So he was the next member.
Boom,
and then,
crazy.
And then on drums, our first drummer was Lou Alfidi. I don't know if you know that guy, but he's like, he's at every show. Like he's definitely been on stage screaming your own lyrics in your face.
Yeah.
And he's like our age, you know.
I love it. Like all, you know, breakdown in general to me, that was like everything that I found about hardcore put in one, where I said, no, that's how I would do it. How I would take these influences. I want to do that with my shit on it. You know what I mean? Like that style. Because it was a little bit of the pieces. It was a little bit of the Sick of It. It was a little bit of the AF. It was a little bit.
We loved the Sick of It All demo. Yeah, we loved AF.
Yeah.
We had this thing where like we wanted to try to make like every like mosh part have like a hip hop break. Like that was what we were trying to do. I don't know if it always really sounded like that.
No, you guys had a lot of that. It was like a lot of boom, boom, and then you had, but Sick People. I don't know if you had remember that writing that song. Or when it came in, because that song means a lot to me. Not only, I think, even for the people that got into it on that compilation, that shit was a game changer.
Yeah.
Not only that, to me, that I want to see somebody give a better example of the swaggy hip, what New York is known for, that attitude kind of thing. That is a better example than that. You ain't gonna find it.
That was like so spontaneous, man. It was just like, you know, Don playing a little riff, and then me playing it with it, and me having a second riff, Rich going, and then Jeff. And Jeff we didn't know as well, because Jeff came from like, we were all from Yonkers. Jeff was from North Shell, which is like really close, but you know, it's just like we didn't know all the same people in common as well.
Yeah.
But we came out of practice, and he just started singing that like that way.
Yeah,
it just all was just instantaneous, you know.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of contrivance or thought put into like it. It just came out.
And that's what makes it even greater. And even Jeff, like, shout out to Jeff. I had him a while ago because again, breakdown was important.
Oh, you had Jeff did this one with you?
Oh, a long time ago. I had to. I was like, no, I had to, because one of the hardest even for them, one of the hardest breakdown shows I ever seen was It was one of the Super Bowls. He came out with the afro, and I think they played like 2-3. So I just remember being like, smashed everybody. And I said, that's how you do it. And then I remember the Raw Deal one when Anthony fell off the stage and broke his shoulder.
Oh, dude, I remember that. That was we were playing with GBH.
Yeah, that was a fucking
hard
hard
shit. Running down, what fucking killing time? And like, boom, immediately, fucking arms out of the socket.
And then back on stage, I remember like, oh my God, what?
Dude, now, you know how many shows he did that? Like how many shows like people would be shoving his arm back in the socket. Like, I just remember like Luke Collar shoving every band we were playing with would help put his arm back in the socket.
Yeah,
we always finished the set except for like finally this one show in Yonkers we played where he just had to go to the hospital. He couldn't get it back in. He couldn't get the arm back in the socket.
Shout out to Andy. Yo, people don't know. I could talk this shit because he used to talk shit on me, but Anthony used to be very airborne. He was very aerodynamic years ago.
He was, man.
Right? Now he's more water dynamic, buoyant, more than aerodynamic.
He's earthbound now.
Yeah, he's earthbound. Yeah, he used to say I was built like a fire hydrant. This is what he used to tell me.
No, he used to be skinny as fuck, man. He was like, he was like 175 pounds wet at one point.
I love it. Now, the breakdown thing is going on.
And by the way, Jeff is temporarily retired from hardcore, but I don't know if that's going to be forever.
He's retired. There's no retiring in hardcore. I'm gonna find him. Baltimore, he can't hide. HR can't hide. It's him and HR, and they're probably starting a band. Shout out to Baltimore. And now the you're doing the breakdown. Now the breakdown, whatever, it just ends or whatever happens. Well, I don't remember exactly what was the trend. I don't know. It
was just like I guess you would say internal beef.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, which
internal beef. We only played 14 shows. We only played 14 shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus
14 shows, and I think like we played 10 of them before we got our first New York show. Crazy. Our first New York show was at the Pyramid with like Side by Side, Altercation, YDL. I think that was kind of a crazy show.
Yeah, man, crazy. I don't know.
Rabies and Rick Capo were putting those shows on at the Pyramid.
No, I caught some of those, but I don't think I caught that one. But I was glad. I was happy to catch some of the Pyramid shows. I saw Side by Side Bold there. I saw a couple.
Yeah.
I might have seen you guys. I seen Raw Deal, Lismore Lounge.
Oh yeah, in the basement.
Raw Deal,
dude.
Netflix Hembane. I'll even fucking tell you the flyer.
Yeah.
Outburst maybe, but it was Netflix Hembane and fucking Raw Deal at the fucking Lismore Lounge.
You're forgetting the Herb Tarlix.
Herb Tarlix, yeah. I remember I was like, yo, Killing Time always had a special, they always had an acquired taste in openers.
I have no idea how that show came together.
The Herb Tarlix. Yo, I had that fucking flyer on my wall for years, dude. That's why I know it.
I haven't seen that flyer, actually. I got the collection of all the old flyers. I haven't seen that one, though.
Oh, that's why I remember that. But I went up and I remember that. I was like, yo, crazy. And, all right, the beef happens. Now, or whatever happens. Is it right away you guys say, yo, we're going to start another band, keep it going? Or what's the deal? What happens there?
Immediately. Yeah, we had a show. This is funny. Like, we had a show. We had a show already booked, like a breakdown show in Albany. And there was 3 of us and 2 of them. Is me, Drago, and Rich, and Don and Jeff. And, I guess I was the one in contact with the people. I was like, yeah, we're coming. and we rolled up there and Steve Reddy sung for us. He was holding the demo. You remember the demo had the lyric sheet on it? He sung it, and it was like a Gorilla Biscuit show. I think like a VFW hall. So like we did that. We did like for one show there was like a alternate lineup, a breakdown, and then after that we just said, all right, we're just gonna do some new shit.
Shout out to Steve Reddy. That's my man, and I had him on the podcast too because that guy is like the what do you call it? The most interesting man in the world. But he's most nobody. He don't talk about it. But I like talking about him because he don't talk about it. and he's really look at that. I never knew that shit. How
Yeah,
crazy
nobody
is that?
knows that. Nobody knows that. That was crazy.
Yeah, and you know why I love it? Like I always, I like I try to get it out of him, like straight edge or whatever, Christian or whatever. But the Albany motherfuckers were the hard motherfuckers. I remember who Albany was. That these guys peace, but they were walking on heads. They were extra. I remember that's why. And Steve was extra, so it makes sense. Raw deal.
It seemed like those dudes had more experience, like they've been around for longer. It's not possible, but I don't know. It just did.
I know who you mean. They had a little more good old boy. That's why. You know what I mean? Like, they weathered a little fast. Shout out to great dude. But that I never knew that, and that's great. So he filled. So now you got that. Now he filled in. Now you're saying we're gonna do new shit. What's the next move? When do you get Anthony, or what's the next move with singing wise, or what's the next move for the band?
Well, the last show of Breakdown at CB's, which I think was with Uniform Choice. I think that's what it was. I can't remember, but I love Uniform Choice back then and Unity. Right. But the last Breakdown show we already had Telltale. It wasn't fleshed out yet, but like we were that people really were into Breakdown at that show. So it was like we had no more songs. We're like, oh, let's play that. No. We just played a little bit of Telltale, and so that was already written. And then I had Wall of Hate was already written. So it was seamless because they were just like songs that would have been Breakdown songs. Yeah. And then Dwayne from Some Records, he's the guy that put us together. He's the guy that put the three of us with Anthony. But Anthony was a fan of Breakdown. It was fun. It's a funny little piece of trivia, but when we played, when the Breakdown set finished and we played Telltale, Jeff sort of walked away because there was no lyrics yet, Yeah. But Anthony was standing there. I was like, it was a breakdown. It was a breakdown show, but we were playing Telltale, and Anthony was standing there, looking like he was the singer. It's like, it was like some magic shit.
Yeah. And then, wow, Dwayne put that together. I didn't know that shit either.
Yeah, well, we put a. I don't know if he put it together, but we put a sign in his place.
Yeah, but you had it up at the spot.
I think he encouraged Anthony to.
Check this out. Yeah, definitely, because that was people don't understand that spot. Some records was like that, like a meeting spot where
ultimate meeting spot, learn, like information point, meeting spot.
I'm glad I got to catch that too.
Buying records, that's like.
Yeah,
think about that, man. It's like all they had in there was like hardcore records and demos and
and DMs. I remember you able to buy Doc Martens.
Upstairs.
Yeah. And crazy. I remember I went there with my brother. Rest in peace. I remember there was we went up. There was like a little rack of records, and I met Craig Ahead that time. He was skateboard. He was thinking he was the youth of today. I was like 11, and he had tape on his sneakers. And I just remember this big headed bald kid. And my brother was I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, whatever.
I know. Shit was crazy when you first got downtown, man. I was intimidated. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was like, this is nuts. I loved it. And then now you got Anthony. Now when you're doing the songs, are you thinking, yo, I'm just writing what I'm writing? Or you were specifically yo, we're going to try to do something more or something different than what you were doing?
No, we just kept just kept heads down. Writing whatever came out, but it was a different formula because when we arranged to meet up with Anthony to come try out or practice with us, he showed up with Mike Senkowitz, who was
people don't know about that.
I know he was in the New York hoods, I think, and he had been in Sick of It All for a minute. Like he was around, he was around, and he was like OG Queens hardcore, but he was also kind of he show up with the snakeskin cowboy boots on. He was a little bit rock and roll.
He was my brother used to be my brother was friends with him, and he was in the back of Smegboy.
Yeah.
Hey, so I knew. Now, tell me this.
So I changed the formula of us writing because we always wrote songs. I don't know. Nowadays, people they write a whole song, and they record it on a laptop and stuff. Then they show it to the band. Back then it was it was just developing with everyone, all five people in the room, just until it was done. You know,
Yeah,
everyone
let me
saying
ask you
shit,
this. I
everyone
heard
adding
Mike
shit.
was a riff guy. Was he a riff guy?
Yeah, yeah. He was
Right.
everything. He was a great guitar player. You know,
Yeah. I always
riff
heard that
guitar,
like he
riff
had chops
player,
too.
solo
Like,
player.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because he was good friends with my brother too, and then he disappeared. People don't know about him unless you know.
Well,
And
he
then
went
like,
into like you know, he went into he joined Nausea. He
yeah,
joined Nausea, and then after that, he was like playing bass in Crawl Pappy. Like, so he was around, but like he just wasn't. You didn't see him at the hardcore shows, you know.
yeah.
And
He
then
kind of
after
like,
that, he fucked off across the country somewhere, like Portland or
yeah.
Oregon or something.
Not
I
now.
see him on Instagram nowadays. He's like got an upright bass, you know. He's like
Crazy. You're writing those songs. You're writing these songs. First of all, when you hear Anthony, what do you think of Anthony? To me, Anthony's the best hardcore singer voice ever.
It was so, yeah. I mean, well, you know, when Anthony was going to come up, we were thinking like, wow, you know, it's like, I wonder if this is going to be cool, because everyone knew Anthony because he had a like ginormous personality, and he was like, you know, ball buster. Like, so if you got to know him, you were immediately getting your balls busted.
Yeah, yeah.
But all we knew of him was singing in the Token Entry 7-inch, which is very like, it's kind of like reserved, you know, like there's no yelling, like so we didn't know what to think. And he comes up and he goes, you guys want me to sing hard? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. And like, it's like it immediately came out like that, like from the go. Like, and I had never heard that voice.
He was waiting for the minute to be that shit. He's like, how many tools can I hang off my fucking punk rock jacket or whatever? I seen old pictures of him, so it's crazy. No, but man, you guys, that was the remedy. Like, again, that was the thing. When I heard you know, you hear Anthony, his fucking, like, his attitude, like his personality is big, but his voice is like that. You know, to me, I was always like, damn, man, that's how a metal band should sound. Like, meaning he could sound hard and you can understand him. I was like, man, it's like the perfect fucking, you know, like, and you could have it on. And that was the thing that Raw Deal had. You guys always had, which bugged me out. Like, some of the sections in your songs were like almost like rock, like really like. You know,
I mean,
that
you know,
shit is like,
I came up like before I got the hardcore. You know, I was a little older. Like it's a lot of rock and roll in my life. You know, a lot of like the Who and Led Zeppelin and Sabbath and
it's crazy because how you fit it in there. You made it work and it sounds right, but it was always, I always used to be like, you know, just some of the ideas you did in sections and just how sections were played. I was like, what made them think of that? I was like, it's just so crazy to me. Like, because again, what I loved about you guys also, you did a lot, but didn't make these 3-minute, 4-minute songs.
I know, they're all so short, right? It's funny, man.
Yeah, but you did a lot in them. To me, Breakdown sounded more what it felt like more like a beat blast over the head.
Yeah.
Raw Deal, Killer Time had, to me, even the short, it seemed like they had more sections, even if it was structured the same. To me, it felt like the highs and the peaks and the valleys were bigger on that.
Right.
Yeah. You know, on the songs in general. Like, you know, Breakdown was like bang your head throughout, you know, ba, ba, ba. Raw Deal had a couple of spots. Again, I learned from writing with Matty Henderson where you do a rock part, and then when you go into the heavy shit, how the heavy shit sounds even heavier.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and if you guys were even doing that consciously or not, that's what you guys had a lot of. And let me tell you, that record, that's the record. You know, we had a couple of records whenever we did albums, and it was always, you know, it was always Bright Side, you know, Age of Quarrel. You know, we would have certain records, like, you know, me, man, we would always go back to that vibe, but like this and like that.
Yeah.
Cool, recording that record. Now, we're going to kind of move through that because obviously
you know, there's one thing I wanted to say, like, which I only recently I pieced the timeline together. Like, so the day that we had the first practice with Anthony and Smegma, Mike Smegma, was the day after Thanksgiving in 1986. Okay, and then our first show at CB's was early February. We had all the songs. It's like we were just at it. Like it's like in a way that you're only going to do when you're like that age. Like you're just like.
I know
practicing like multiple times
balls are full of life. Yeah.
It's cool.
All right, you got those bunch of songs. How long before you get the deal to do the album?
I think it was the same year, Hoya. It feels like it was 5 years, but
no, back then it did. Like one big show was a big deal. Like, yo, Raw, the Super, when a Super Bowl, they're playing with G, like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? It felt like you waited a year. Like I'll wait, like it almost felt like I'll wait another year. I can't wait. Like, but it's crazy. But I find that out the more and more when we do timelines with people. They're like, yo, this was only 2 years. This was only this. And you're like, wow,
right. Yeah. Just a lot gets packed into those years. No, I think we got signed the same year. Or the next year. Like we played our first show the beginning of 88 and we got signed to in effect either late 88 or like early 89, I think. And we took a lot of shit from people about that. Everyone was getting all like kind of righteous about things,
I remember. I was like, motherfuckers, this way motherfuckers give a fuck. I'm like, motherfuckers put out an album. Like, I was just happy. And I was like, finally, I'm waiting. Like, like, what the fuck? I wasn't the demo guy. I love the demos, but I wasn't the demo dude. Oh, I hear you. I want to hear the album. I want to hear the fucking good shit. Like, like, and especially you guys, again, you guys were one of the people that, again, why I want to get into with the Normandy. You guys got lucky. Not lucky, but I'm saying with that studio, which did a lot of classic shit, people try to recreate the sounds that you ended up getting and can't do it no more.
You could say it. We did get lucky. I mean, we knew our shit.
Yeah.
But we didn't know anything other than our shit,
Yeah.
And that was like a world-class studio.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, all right, you get signed. How did that come up? Like, now do you remember talking, all right, who we're gonna record with? Because back then it was like Don Fury. Right? Everybody wanted to
that was it. I mean, Breakdown and Raw Deal, we recorded our demos at this place called The Loft in Bronxville, which was like a little fancy little town, but it was like near where we lived, and like they had a studio up on top of the movie theater, and we just went in there, and the guy, it was a hippie guy, but he didn't have to do anything. All he did was just have to press play because we just play the set, So that's all we ever did. We never recorded anything other than just, all right, play the set, So we didn't, we fucked around with like, it was, I don't think we were like conscious in a way that we would have said, all right, this album was done with this person. We want to do it that way. We were just kind of like, we were just crazy.
Yeah. Did somebody recommend this guy to you? Or
yeah. It's like we were fucking around. We fucked around with what's his name too? Williamson. What's his name? The Rock Hotel guy.
Chris Williamson. Yeah.
Yeah. He brought us into his studio one day. He wanted to do some shit, and then. It was kind of jive. Like his shit was like, we didn't like the way he was talking to us. But then like when we got with the In Effect guys, they were just like, oh, I can't remember. They were like, I think Leeway recorded at Normandy. I think there was a band like called Wargasm or something that was on Relativity that had recorded up there. So they were just like, oh, this is where our bands go. So they were like, all right, let's go. And we went up there with like us and like 6 of our boys, like and just like fucking. There was like a residence above the studio, like with like bunk beds and stuff like that. So it was just a crazy time, when just like
You remember that those sessions? Like, was the whole recording like? Yeah. How long was that recording session?
I remember the sessions. Yeah, I just like the night we got there, we were like. Like I said, we had only been in this little crappy studio. We got in there, we're like, whoa, what the fuck, man? This is like
real shit.
And the dude from Aerosmith was at the board. He was like working on mixing something or something like that. I don't know if it was Tom Hamilton or Brad Whitford. I can't even remember at this point. But like we were just like, oh shit, like and like we just went in and played like we would play anywhere else, you know. And it's like we didn't have a producer. Like a lot of bands like had a producer, and you know how producer works, but we didn't have anybody except ourselves. So the guy that was the engineer kind of took it upon himself to like help us make our record. He knew he could see that we could play our songs, but like things like working on the vocal, getting the good vocal take, things like doubling the guitars. I never even tried to do that. I didn't even know what it was.
But you had the songs structured. He had nothing to do with that, right?
No one fucked with the songs at all.
Yeah.
And these guys just taught us how to record, and they were patient with us, and just working with Drago to get the right drum sounds, because he never recorded in a room where you mic it up the whole kit. It was always just like 2-track live, and
that was the thing. Drago's style was always wild, and it was controlled. You could hear it. Like I used to be like, man, this is perfect. Like you could hear that. That's why it had that. It had like jungle in it. You know what I mean? That it had this like up and down. He has that style. Like, and if you can't hear it good, you can't. It feels better when you could hear the shit like in a good production. That's why that album, I was like, man, that album. People to this day, they know what's up with that album. Do you remember
when I say we lucked out, like I mean it, because we just didn't really know anything about recording. And at one point it was stressful because they were asking us to do shit we didn't even know. And like at one point I remember Anthony was on the phone with the record label. He was talking to he was either talking to Howard or Steve Martin or someone, and he was just fucking screaming at them about how we're up here and we don't have a producer and we don't know what the fuck we're doing. But in the end, it all worked out, man.
For the best. Everything about that album. And then you get that out. Now let me ask you this. Do you remember like getting the like, did you have a chance? Like, because I always remember this too. Like when you get you first hear the album mixed and stuff, and you're like, did you feel good about it? Because that record's ridiculous.
I was super, super fucking stoked about it. It was so big, powerful sounding, and Anthony was singing in a way that like I never heard before.
Ridiculous,
It was just great.
What a fucking
we were there for the mixes, and then we attended the mastering and stuff. We were like we weren't like leaving anything to anybody,
Yeah, no, for sure. And I love it. And again, then we went into people don't know. We keep talking about, so for the people out there that don't know, Killing Time used to be called Raw Deal, and they had to change their name because of the movie, if I remember correct, right?
No, I think it was
another band or something.
It was another band. It was like, the label called us up one day and they're like, oh, there's another band called Raw Deal, a heavy metal band from England. I don't think they were even an active band. I think it was like the guys from like Anvil or something. They were going to call themselves Raw Deal, and like the label's like, oh, they're going to sue us. We got to change the name.
And again, we go back to that show, and I remember Anthony had the thing. The band, he goes nuts. He's like, because of this shit, And I remember being like, this is the hardest shit. But that it was considered the last show,
the last Raw Deal
show. But the last Raw Deal show is also online. And if you see it, we're all there. I talk shit. All the fellas are talking shit. And, we're all kids. And I'm like, I'm like promoting my demo. Like typical shit at a hardcore show back then.
Yeah.
Anthony talking shit like, oh, boy, these guys here. Marquise, this guy. It was so – I watched – I almost wanted to cry. No joke. Because the people, the banter. And I remember I was like, man, a lot of those guys ain't around. But I was also like, man – holy shit, he got this. Like this show, I remember, you see everybody, like just, if you see Lou there, you see, if there's old friends of mine. And
I know that. I've seen that video, yeah.
I bug out. I'm like, I stay there looking, there's this guy. Yeah. Oh, shit, look at Puerto Rican Mike.
Everybody looks familiar in that video,
Right? It's insane.
It's out of the stage, but like every face looks familiar.
Exactly. And then now you're doing that now. There's a song now. This is the thing again. Now you guys play, and when you guys end up you go to Europe, but you end up not going with Anthony. I'm just saying this to blow Anthony up a little bit because
Yeah.
Anthony was scared to fly or whatever. Now he's fucking Bruce Dickinson of hardcore. He flies the plane, but I'm glad he's fucking playing, you know, playing around or whatever. Shout out to Dave, rest in peace. We know, and but we got Anthony. He's finally fucking Air Anthony traveling or whatever. He's that. I know you guys after that. I don't know if this was before the traveling or after, but you guys start writing some songs, and there's a riff that I think it's slept on from one of your later shits, and I want to know about it.
Yeah, I like that riff.
Anthony, I like it too, and I might have been.
Anthony never wants to play that song anymore.
Are you? I'll fucking kill him. You know how many times I bit that song? Like the essence, I go back to that. Listen, that's again. Do you remember that? Is that one of yours?
Yeah, that was from the Happy Hour EP.
Yeah, the Happy Hour. Yeah,
that was written when when the lineup was me and Drago and this guy Alex Gapoyan was the bass player, and Anthony. We were a 4-piece at the time, and we did a recording with Don Fury, but that was the jam on it, you know. Like it was a very rock, very kind of metal recording, all the 4 songs, but like, you know, but that one is like, and then we redid that one on the Method record just because.
That's what it is. Yeah, you redid on the Method. Yeah, exactly. Listen, when that, I was like, that one song.
That's Happy Hour.
What that shit? It has that Sick People Remedy, that fucking, you know, all that shit, you know. And again, you got a fucking I always forget the titles of the songs, but from the Sick People, and then on the Killing Time record is you know, the tone between what's wrong and what's right. That's the same kind of raw deal. Riff, the breakdown riff, the essence of that jump. That's what I mean. Where I say, man. That's New York hardcore to me.
All right.
You know, and that song, when you did it late, I was like, yeah, that's that shit. Because we call them James Browns when I would write music. Me and Maddie Henderson.
Oh, that's because you guys call them James Browns. Like when you get a breakdown,
we would do the slide. So he'd be like, hit me, bam. So we go, you throw a JB in there.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys were some of that where
There's a lot of James Browns in that jam.
Yeah, and that's what we would always do that. And I'm like, man, that's flavor, and that's and I love saying that. I'm like, yeah, you know, these are white boys trying to do hip hop, but they found that middle ground. This is the thing, you know. They thought they sound super hip hop. It wasn't super hip hop, but it was that. That's how you do it. You know what I mean? Yep. But I was like, not when you jam something like that. Obviously, I know jamming riffs, sometimes they just come out, but also sometimes you may say like, yo, I want to try to do a jumpy joint or a bounce joint. Were you thinking that when you wrote that, or was that one?
No, that was just like trying to do some new shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because that was like 1991 or 92 when we did that. It was just like, you know, the band was like, everyone in the band was like, kind of like going in different directions, and like the scene, you know, CB's had closed down, and it was just like there's all this other music coming out. It was just like, all right, let's do some new shit that's us, but that's branching out. And
I that track especially, I got it on my playlist. I love that. I always used to say like, man, like that's the one, like that's the one has that shit, man. Now we need to like keep finding those. Like I like those little sections and riffs, you know what I mean? You're like, man, I like it goes from there to there. I'm gonna use some of that, you know, kind of shit. And the good thing about you guys, which I love, is you guys are playing a lot now. What's the deal? Like, what's the plan? I mean, I know you guys kind of just are playing out, and is there a bigger plan, or you just taking what's coming to you, or you like thinking
you know, we're just living it, man, and we're living it and being down with every show and enjoying it, and like just like we're not worried about too much about what's next, you know, just about what's in front of us right now.
But you guys want to be playing more, which it seems like.
Oh right? Yeah, we want to play more. Yeah, I mean, we just want to keep playing, you know.
Yeah, keep playing. Like that's what I mean.
At the level we're playing now, as long as like everybody's like feeling good about it, and like the crowds are feeling good about it, and there's always new places to play. Like there's always seems to be like some place that we've never played before. It's like, all right, come out and play.
Yeah. So. No, for sure. And like I, not only from what I see, I know from talking to the other generations. There's a handful of bands, and you guys are one of them that people. And I'm like, okay, that's not just some guys picked a couple of throwback bands to be like, let's make this a niche band everybody's gonna get into.
Right.
Even with the Outbursts, these were bands. It was the same thing. It would have been Outbursts, Killing Time on a bill. That would have been a typical bill. Like,
it was Sick of It All, Raw Deal. Then it was like Killing Time, Outburst. Like
exactly.
It was like a well-used bill, Like
I tell you, a bill would be Maximum Penalty, Outburst, Raw Deal. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how it would be. Shout out to Connie. She was setting up shows in my era. Like I was going with her in the Connie era. It's like 88 a bit later, but she had it though too. But and I love that you guys are playing shows and like that. Anything about music, or you're not even thinking about it, or if something comes up?
What about making new music?
Yeah,
we talk about it. We just haven't. We haven't found the time to like be on that like with each other, like playing and stuff, because we just like barely can exist enough to like play the shows and stuff. Like it would be cool to do something new, that's for sure. And we may.
What you guys are doing now is great because you got albums, you got other songs, other albums, you got enough stuff that you could throw. You got a full set. You could still throw, some other joints in there and surround them by the classics.
A couple other songs in.
Yeah, you surround them by the classics, so that you always got a safety net. I know how it is when you throw these
keep songs. It to like a 35, 40-minute hardcore set,
which it should be.
Yeah, it's really
which it should be, not just because I'm a fucking 250 fucking pound fucking gorilla and I'm like got no cardio, but you have the next. This is gonna come out tomorrow, and I'm gonna let you know.
Okay.
But the next shows you got coming up, is that the Gorilla Biscuit shows?
Friday night, and Saturday night.
Oh, boom! That's even perfect because this is gonna be out tomorrow.
Amityville, and then Lake Como, New Jersey.
Yeah, those are cool. That's a cool
end of the
spot.
Summer banger in the beach towns.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm glad I was able to get you for sure, man. And I want to say this: we got to do Smoke AD, Raw Deal.
Yeah, man.
Killing Time. We're gonna work on a little something. Yo, Bill Wilson. We're gonna talk. We got a little thing. We got a couple people on that. Yo, Aunt, get ready. But on the real, man, I'm glad you guys are playing. Definitely, I want to see you guys. I'm gonna be playing with my band, and definitely, man, I want to get up because I see you guys playing a lot. Like, I'm like, fuck, they're around enough, so I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'll be good when it does too.
And listen, anything else going on? You want to let the people before we out of here? Where to get any merch? Anything?
Well, yeah, we're gonna have some. We got a couple of good shirts coming out, new designs. One of them we're dropping this weekend, and then the other one will probably drop by California.
Also, you're going out west. Oh yeah, for the other thing.
Yeah,
good shit. Listen, shout out to everybody. Yo, shout out to Raw Deal, and shout out to Killing Time. Shout out to Breakdown. Shout out to Sick People. Shout out to that riff.
Yeah, man.
Because that's the fucking game changer. And I say it now, and I've been fucking saying, anybody who knows me, I said that riff, that moment is the hardcore that I think we know, and the people that I had, that was anything that in the bands that I played with, and that the other bands that got influenced off that is off that fucking riff.
1986 Yonkers, baby.
Listen. Hold on. This has never been done. I'm gonna give you a standing ovation.
Come on, dude.
Listen, that's the first time ever. And Raw Deal is my favorite band, and for that is a game changer. I really mean that because again, my style came off that riff, and
man.
Period, man. But hopefully we can chill soon, and then we'll do a recap with you and Anthony live backstage. That's what we got to do this shit.
I'm with that. Let's do that.
But listen, yo. And by the way, that Raw Deal, the homeboy who did the plaque in the back, that shit came out
dope.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah, that guy, he does some sick shit.
Definitely go check him out. I think I got him. We're all following him. Everybody out there, go make sure this weekend go check out Killing Time. And look out for Killing Time and Smoke AD in a fucking city near you, everybody.
All right.
Hang on. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. Don't drop that dial. But we out of here for now. Yo, everybody. To the next one. We out of here.